Good morning and welcome to BJC Mitzvah Day, number 180, part 4. Using Sefer Hachinuch Mitzvah Day keeps your soul on its way. And we're continuing with the Tumah, the impurity of Shichvos Zera, the emission of semen, found in the third book, Vayikra, Parshas Zera. The laws of the Tumah, the impurity of Zera, seed, literally, apply in every location and in all times. Says they apply in Eretz Yisrael and the diaspora, and whether the Beis Mikdash is standing or not. However, nowadays, since due to our sins we have neither a temple into which a tummy person may not enter, that's going to be Mitzvah 363, nor Kadoshim, sacred foods, which a tummy person may not eat, which was already 167, we need not be careful with regard to Tumah matters. The Chinuch's assertion that we need not be careful with regard to Tumah matters relates, among other things, to purification from Tumah. Under biblical law, a tummy person is not required to purify himself by immersing in a mikvah unless he wishes to enter the temple or to eat sacred foods, which effectively renders purification from Tumah irrelevant nowadays. As with any Tumah, this is true regarding Tumah from Zera, from the seed. However, a regulation enacted by the prophet Ezra required a Baal Keri, again, that's someone who had a seminal emission, to immerse in a mikvah before engaging in Torah study and prayer. The Chinuch elaborates on this requirement, particularly with regard to its applicability today. We have neither a temple nor sacred foods, so the Torah's requirement of immersion for a Baal Keri has no practical relevance to us. Nevertheless, the following may have relevance to us. The prophet Ezra instituted a requirement of immersion in a mikvah for a Baal Keri, so that people should preoccupy themselves with more wholesome and pure thoughts and not constantly engage in relations with their wives like roosters. Accordingly, in Ezra's time, a person who experienced an emission, Baal Keri, would not pray or study Torah until he had immersed in a mikvah. Let's see. Should we save the... Oh, let's finish. The Chinuch teaches that Ezra's enactment has since been rescinded. Nowadays, however, we follow the ruling in the Gemara and Brachos that Ezra's requirement of immersion for a Baal Keri was rescinded by the sages. Accordingly, a person need not refrain from praying or studying Torah or from donning tefillin, putting on tefillin, on account of having experienced Keri, seminal emission. In fact, the sages also rescinded the less demanding requirement of washing, that is, to rinse the body with 9 kabin of water. That's a measurement of water. He says that's going to be about 3.4 gallons, between 3.4 gallons and 5.7 gallons of water, right? That's what you'd also have to do in order to, quote-unquote, purify yourself, at least on a rabbinical level, from that seminal emission. But they rescinded that as well. As a result, most Baal Keri today do not immerse in a mikvah or wash themselves at all on account of their emission. However, a devout person, literally a master of his soul, whose practice is to purify himself of his Keri even now, when Ezra's enactment is no longer an absolute requirement, has acquired for himself a good and praiseworthy virtue, and a blessing should come upon him. Also, indeed, anyone who discerns the path of purity and recognizes its abundant goodness should embrace it. And my friends, we've now finished that mitzvah. Thanks for listening to Sponsor Future Mitzvah. 36 from 100 for the gold. Have a great rest of your day.